they don't see the light, they feel the heat. So you have to educate yourself, first of all, and that's one reason I appreciate each and every one of you who's here. And then you have to then go out and be what I call persistently vocal. When you contact your representative, your member of parliament or whatever, you don't just contact him or her one time and then sit back and watch reruns of EastEnders. You then go out and you write a letter. You then go try to see them at their offices. You then call their offices. You then start the whole process all over again until you make sure you get their attention. Then you tell your friends, or at the same time, tell your friends and family members to go with you to their offices. Do the same thing. Be persistently vocal. Make yourself an actual nuisance. Write letters to the editor. If you, especially if you see some moron who's written something that says, yes, we need to save our jobs, so we're going to vote yes on the Lisbon Treaty. Well, write them back and say, no, no, no. So challenge each and every one of these people. And then join with others to act together, like the Irish Street Coalition, or in our case on health freedom, the National Health Federation. We're an despite our name, we're actually an international organization with 17 members. And we're opening branches in various countries as well to solidify those members' actions. So, there we go. So remember, I hate to quote this guy, this is one of the worst US presidents we've ever had. He was probably, almost certainly involved in the death of John F. Kennedy, had a hand in it in kind of a palace coup operation. But he did say one good thing, and that is what convinces its conviction. So when you make your presentations, I want to urge you to speak from the heart. You know, when you speak with conviction, you're much more convincing to the other side than when you're just repeating something from rote memory. So if you truly feel it in your heart and you make that presentation from the heart as well as from the head, you will be more likely to convince the person you're trying to convince. So, our organization, we're the world's oldest, just to acquaint you with, and I won't bore you with much of this, but we're the world's oldest health freedom organization. We've been around nearly 55 years. We're active on many fronts, not only anti-vaccination, anti-fluoridation of water, which we're fighting in the UK, by the way. We've been highly successful in stopping a lot of these things and making people aware of their rights to refuse vaccinations, which are embedded in law in the US, by the way. And we have members in, actually, it's more than 17 countries at this stage. And we're the only health freedom organization with a seat at the Codex table. So this is our lobbyist in DC, Lee Bechtel, and he fights the $6 million a day pharmaceutical lobbyist and the seat of the beast there in Washington, DC. And we put out various ads and advertising and things like this. This actually was created by a Yorkshire couple that works with Federation from England, and we advertise extensively. Now, this may be a gentleman that you don't know. Some of you will recognize him. He received our 2007 Health Freedom Hero Award, and for good reason. This is Ron Paul. And you didn't hear much about Ron Paul in the last election, even though he's running for president, because he ran against John McCain, and had he beat John McCain in the Republican primary, he almost certainly, assuming a fair election, which is a bit of a stretch, he would have beaten Obama in the election. He would be president of the US now. He's a representative from Texas, and he's very, very hardcore individual liberty rights, anti-North American Union, and very much he would oppose, and does oppose, the Lisbon Treaty if he had something to say about it on a personal level, in the sense of being a resident of Ireland or wherever. But he's a very great individual. We also write letters on behalf of consumers. In this case, this is an example of a letter we wrote to the Food Standards Agency in the UK, arguing on behalf of freedom in advertising, so that the consumers have the right to know about certain issues. Here's a book that I put together, which some of you may have already bought, others may have nicked, but it doesn't matter. Over there on the table. And Codex Alimentarius, and it's a collection of articles that that various health freedom writers, myself included, but many others as well, have written from a certain time period, giving their first-hand experiences. And the beauty of the book, if I may say that, is that you don't have to read the whole boring thing, but you can skip around and read those parts that interest you, and the parts that don't, you can ignore. So there are still a few copies that are still there, and I think they're 10 euros or something like that, but you can see Dave or Sarah in the back about it. And you can also go to our website. I'd also recommend you go to the Irish Truth Coalition website as well. And I want to remind you, this is Ireland right now. You're hanging on by a thread. You've said no once, and what is it about no they don't understand? I just don't get it. And you're about to drop off if you vote yes. But I saw this picture and I said, hey, this is Ireland. And you have a choice. Pull yourself up by saying no, or drop into the abyss. And the funny thing about it is, though, that it's really not about Ireland. It's really about Europe. You know, there are a lot of Europeans that are behind you. You know, what Anthony said about France and Germany was really just true about the leaders of those countries. Spending a lot of time in France, you know, I get a chance to talk to a lot of Frenchmen and Frenchwomen and the like, and a lot of them are just like you. They're hoping to God that you vote no on the treaty, because then it'll help protect them as well. So Harry Schultz is our financial advisor at NHF. He's about 2 years younger than God, and he's written one of the longest live financial newsletters in the world. He's in the Guinness Book of World Records as the highest paid financial consultant, something like $2,500 an hour to have his financial advice. And he's the one that actually coined the term stagflation. So when you hear it in the press, it came from him. Well, I had lunch with him on Friday. Actually, it was a really incredibly long lunch. And it lasted 6 hours. And he said, oh, you're going to Dublin to speak. Tell him this, please. So I quickly wrote this up. He said, it's not just about Ireland. You know, this is about Europe. And it's really true. And only you have the chance to save Europe. And one of the things that he also said, and this is a highly paid, highly well-respected financial analyst of the markets, he said that they're trying to tell you need to do this to save jobs, but the fact of the matter is you will lose jobs if you vote yes. You won't gain jobs. Imagine a hurricane, and the financial storm and crisis hit. It actually hit a bit earlier, but basically in 2008, into 2007, 2008, and we're passing through that storm. And now, right now, we're in the eye of the storm. And the politicians are looking around and saying, the crisis is over. The hurricane has passed. And they don't realize, or maybe they well do realize, but again, keep in mind truth number 3, government lies. They don't realize the brunt of the storm is going to hit. And it will hit probably, according to Harry, when a lot of the mortgages reset in May 2010 next year, and it will last about 18 months. It'll be a long and bumpy ride, and it will be worse. And according to him, if Ireland's wagon is hooked or hitched to the EU star, you're going to be suffering from this big one-size-fits-all mass uniformity, top-down, elitist, command-driven economy, where they're trying to juggle Portuguese interest rates with what's best for Germany, what's best for Ireland. You think Ireland's going to be considered much? No. They're going to consider German interest and French interest and maybe even British interest way before they consider Irish interest. So if you want to be sure to lose jobs, then you want to vote yes to the Lisbon Treaty. If you want to have a ghost of a chance of surviving the oncoming economic storm, then you will vote no. So Benjamin Franklin said it, a long life may not be good enough, but a good life is long enough. So it's up to you to make it a good life, and you do that by making sure that the circumstances around you exist that will allow you to have a good life. And it's doing the right thing. And by going out and telling your friends and family to vote no on the Lisbon Treaty, you're doing what's really best for them too, as well as for yourself. So I think that's it. Yep, that's it. So